this extra protection to the American oil and gas industry. Why is Mexico significant to this particular part of the story?
Well, Mexico is significant because international companies now hold exploration and production rights in offshore and onshore blocks of Mexico. Mexico is the #1 destination, believe it or not, for American gas, oil, and refined product exports. Now, before NAFTA, only Mexico's state-owned country's upstream segment. But recent reforms in the last few years have actually opened the country up to more privatization. And the problem is that this new trade agreement locks those reforms in and makes it really hard for future Mexican administrations to change their policies without the risk of being sued by the American energy industry. The whole reason these are a problem is because they really impede on the sovereignty of these nations.
Well, that's the whole idea with this whole globalization, though. In other words, I hope the viewers caught that. If Mexico passed states under globalization, and now we're seeing it play itself out right here. For those who don't know, Brigida, how do investor states dispute settlement? How does that harm taxpayers? Most people don't understand how it affects taxpayers.
Sure. Well, these cases are heard outside domestic courts in private arbitration. They basically create a shadow legal system for corporate polluters and criminals, and their decisions cannot be appealed. And when corporations win, taxpayers foot the bill to cover losses on a company's estimated future profits. Now, I'll give you an example. American taxpayers once paid Canada over $1 million after the U.S.-based pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly lost a lawsuit that it had brought against the Canadian government for the country's drug patent system. We're constantly told that Congress is completely divided among party lines, but here it is again, uniting for corporate interests.
Globalization is a disaster. Thanks for joining me, Brigida. Let's talk about this story some more in the future, okay?
I'd love to, thanks.
And finally tonight, some good news. Apple has agreed to pay out $500 million to settle claims that they've been intentionally slowing down older iPhones to force users to purchase new phones. Big surprise there, huh? This practice is called planned obsolescence, and it's one of the major reasons users end up buying new cell phones every 2 years. Complaints for consumers have been pouring in for years all across the globe, and Apple's been hit with lawsuits in both the United States and Europe for slowing down iPhones intentionally. But don't feel bad about that $500 million because the truth is the company pulls in from new Apple iPhone sales in the U.S. every month. Based on their quarterly profits, their sales are about $8 billion a month worth of new iPhones. That's in the United States alone, by the way. This settlement should have been much, much higher, but sometimes you have to take whatever victory you can get, and hopefully the company's going to change its practices as a result of this. That's all for tonight. Find us on Twitter and Facebook at facebook.com/RT America's Lawyer. You can watch all RT America programs on DirecTV